Many households domesticate animals and keep them as pets for several reasons, among which is companionship. In most of these household, dogs are among the most popular ones and are generally the world over regarded as man's best friend. However, not all dogs are friendly, and instances of dogs biting humans are becoming a major public health concern. Globally, millions of people are bitten by dogs annually, while most of the fatal cases occur in children. Although there is inadequate data on the number of dog bites in Nigeria, the frequency of occurrences is becoming quite alarming. Just recently, social media was flooded with stories of how 10 dogs owned by a school proprietor in Anambra State attacked and devoured a 2-year-old prospective pupil. This recent attack once again highlights the need to enlighten the public on issues of handling domestic animals. Well, this is the focus on this edition of Nigeria Today. Welcome to the program. I'm Dennis Adigunloye. Now with me in the studio to discuss handling domestic animals, we have Dr. Monday Ujiamien, former National Secretary General, Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association. You're very welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
All right, quite a disturbing developments that has led us to select this topic for discussion today, and we definitely know that you will have plenty to say on the matter. Let's begin by asking you what class of animals are considered domestic animals, one we can keep as pets.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me say straight off, from time immemorial, permit me to use that word.
Yep.
All animals have always had their own place of abode by reason of where they feel most comfortable within the ecosystem. But suffice that with time, as knowledge increased, man had always had the privilege of taking advantage of his own right of, domineering power over all creatures. So one after the other, man decided to pick on one animal or the other, get close to that animal, take a look at his own habits and whatever, and then just simply picking from the wild and, allow the animal to accompany him. And the word to domesticate simply means you bring the animal to yourself, put it within your domain, and then you start to provide for that animal, having taken the animal out of its natural habitat. And of course, such animals have grown over time. The dog is one of those animals that had this early relationship with man, and with time the number had increased. You have horses, you have cats, and let me also shock you that in recent time people have started to domesticate obviously wild animals like snakes and other ones.
All right, but we all know, like I said in the opening, that dogs are generally considered a man's best friend. And what, in your view, would make a dog turn back and attack its human beings, maybe its neighbor or its owner? What are the circumstances that would cause a dog to react in this way?
Well, I must say this. First and foremost, that the dog in this case, of course, there are different breeds of dogs. You have the small breeds, the terrier, you have the medium, then the large size dogs. So they come in different forms, and for every breed of dog, over time studies have revealed their peculiar characters, their specific characters. And on the basis of their specific and known characters, prospective owners need to have a good knowledge of the type of breed of dog that they wish to keep. I say this quite often when people come to us in the clinic, for example. I said, it's not out of place somebody wants to acquire a vehicle. Even before he has the money to buy a vehicle, he already has a fair idea of the knowledge of the vehicle he wishes to acquire. He wants to build a house. He already have a dream house. But very, very sadly, many people, all that you do is just, oh, I want a dog. And then they just simply go, they ask, if they do at all, they just ask a few questions. And then on the basis of that, they just go and acquire a dog. Not realizing that there are specific, behaviors or characters that are known with specific breeds. So if for any reason somebody, for lack of knowledge, goes on to acquire a particular breed, not taking into cognizance the specific character of that breed, then quite often it's just a matter of time. The dog will reveal its true character by way of attack, if it's attack, or some may just simply be docile, contrary to what you think it is. So the underlying fact is that would-be dog owners, I don't want to use the word pet in this case now, would-be dog owners, you need to find out specifically the type of dog that you wish to have, and then you get educated on the peculiarity of that particular breed. Of course,
go on, sir.
Yeah, of course, the choice of the breed has to do with the reason, the purpose for your acquisition. Why do you want to have the dog? Then, if that's clear, you can seek the counsel of an expert. Permit me to say the veterinary surgeon, the veterinary doctor, is best positioned to advise you on the type of dog that you should have. It will interest us now that apart from the general reasons why people keep dog, which is for guard, security purpose and what have you, science and knowledge have advanced the acquisition of dogs to the level of even health care. There are some health conditions on the part of man that would necessitate such patients being advised to go with some specific type of dogs that at the end of it will provide some services that will help to improve the health of such persons. So in summary, it's important, very, very important, that before anyone goes to acquire any dog, consult with your vet. Let him advise you, and then you take the appropriate steps.
Absolutely. You talked about one of the main reasons Nigerians generally own dogs is for security purposes. We've seen, and I'm sure you're more than aware about how those in other climes, how they treat their dogs, almost like one of the family. If one dies, for example, you'll see how traumatized the owner is, grief-stricken really, when a pet dies. What is your assessment of how Nigerians take their own ownership of their dogs in terms of companionship, in terms of emotional connection, as opposed to just the security aspect of it?
Yeah, I must say this. Each time we talk about the Nigerian factor, the tendency is to be negative about it, but that's not very right.
Yeah.
Over the years, through our practice, we have found, obviously, wonderful individuals and families that have certainly made the best of having a dog with them. Of course, in the same way, we have people who, for whatever reasons, they are yet to understand what it takes, what it means to keep a dog with them. So, for the average Nigerian, I want to say yes, there's still a lot of room for improvement. But having said that, I said it before now, the type of breed that you need to acquire is in relation to the function.
Yep.
But no matter the function, once you have acquired a dog, there are some specific, it's actually a responsibility. And let me put it that way. It's a responsibility. Before you acquire any dog, be sure that you are responsible enough. And having had one, it's a responsibility, not just a privilege. Sometimes we find individuals, they go about, taking pride in saying, oh, I have this type of breed of dogs, I have this type of breed of dog, just for the sake of name dropping. But it's beyond that. No matter the type of dog that you have, whether the small breed, the medium size, or the large size breed of dog, there are specific things that's required. One is that they must be trained. Be prepared to train your dog. Be prepared to provide the needed nutrition. Be prepared to give the necessary grooming. And then you must also be ready to exercise that dog. You must be prepared to provide the comfort like shelter. So these are things that must be put in place. You must be prepared to provide them, no matter the breed that you wish to acquire.
Certainly,
so this is very important.
It's a very, very big responsibility. All right, talking about this this very tragic case that we heard about, the story of 10 dogs attacking and devouring a 2-year-old baby. What's your reaction, and what do you think actually went wrong in this instance? Well,
let me, I know what it means for any human to had its own life got cut short abruptly. Let me at this point express our sincere condolences. We do not know the family, but certainly someone is going through a lot of pain. It's exactly a week today. Having said that, I took a critical study of that case, and I will say without fear of contradictions that so many things actually went wrong. So many things. There's hardly any part of the entire story. If the story we read is to be taken as true as presented, then everything about the entire experience is wrong. Starting from the choice of the dog. There is nothing wrong in choosing that particular breed of dogs. What is not right is the absence. From the story itself, it is clear that there is the absence of some specific measure that should have been taken as far as that breed of dogs are concerned. Number one, if we have a situation whereby 10 dogs, I do not know how they got escaped from their confine, but then it is clear that the housing of those dogs, for the housing to permit the escape of 1 or 2, 3, it's a serious matter. It's a strong indication that there is a breach in the type of housing that should have been provided for those dogs. If not, basically speaking, if the housing is in order, it would have been difficult for the 10 of them, no matter what. You are not talking about 1, you are not talking about 2, but to the point that 10 could have escaped. That is totally unacceptable. For such breeds of dogs, you would expect that they should have a properly constructed kennel.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And a properly constructed kennel is the type that is good enough to ensure that not even two of such dogs are put in the same kennel. It should be one at a time. So we'll be talking about at least 10 kennels. But then if I'm to go back a little bit, we do not have evidence whether the owner consulted the vet as to obtaining the necessary advice that is required for such a number of dogs to be kept. That is another issue entirely. Then the idea of keeping such breeds of dogs within a school setting where there are pupils is also out of place.
That's almost criminal, isn't it?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but then it is simply out of place. Let me explain it. The story has it that the young lad, strayed away.
All right, can I just pause you there?
Okay.
We'll take a quick break. We'll definitely come back to this.
Thank you.
Because it is very critical to our discussion. You are watching Nigeria Today. Stay with us. More to come after we hear from some members of the public on this issue. Stay with us.
Dog per se are not that dangerous. It depends on what you train the dog for. Some people keep dog as pets, some keep dog for security.
Most of us now are hungry, so I understand the predicament we're already facing. For us, you're feeding yourself, you're feeding a dog, and so most people will be like, I better match up first. The dog should cater for itself. Such this thing is not good. If you know that you can't cater for your dog, you better go and sell it, especially for the wild ones.
I think we should find a way to see how we can balance the equation of living with the wild animal and also living with humans.
All right, welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today. We are discussing handling domestic animals. Still with me to shed more light on this is Dr. Monday Ujiamien, former National Secretary General, Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association. Doc, I'm sure you heard some of the comments from some members of the public there. They've pretty much summed up what we've been discussing so far about owning dogs in particular is a huge responsibility, and if you're not prepared to take on that responsibility, then don't get involved in it. Just go back to continue the points you were making concerning this tragic case we were discussing.
Yeah, thank you very much. The story has it that the young lad strayed away.
Yeah.
Then the question is, how much distance, how long was the distance from where the child was?
A 2-year-old.
The 2-year or 3-year-old child, how long was that distance to the point that it could get so close to where the dogs were kept? Obviously, it tells us that there was a short distance, and the distance was so short to the point that it's absolutely out of place to have had those dogs kept that close to such an institution. If the child strayed away at the point where the uncle was filling the forms to document, nobody saw the child, to the point that nobody could have helped to say, look, you this child, where are you going to? That's another issue. How many people were there? What was the uncle doing also? To the point that until when they had the shout of dogs, probably the dogs were completely not caged. So many things had gone wrong. So many things went wrong, and it's really sad.
What do you think should happen going forward with regards to this case in terms of, let's say, making an example of those who are responsible?
Yeah, these sometimes it sounds nice to want to look for a way of punishing obviously wrong developments. But you see, this is an irreparable loss.
Yeah.
It's an irreparable loss. Sadly, you find that, some people came from the neighborhood, got the entire dogs down, and the video has it that the dogs were all set on fire. That's some form of cruelty again, if we are to look at it from the animal welfare point. That's another cruelty, and
that's just to be clear, is not what you believe should have occurred.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're saying, that is animal cruelty. These dogs there's an argument that they were acting in accordance to their own nature. The responsibilities for those who have kept them properly caged, as it were.
That's right. And that unfortunately has also destroyed some level of evidences that would have been available for the law enforcement agents to use. But then when it comes to establishment of schools, it's important that the regulations are made explicitly clear, very, very clear, to the point that animals should not be kept so close to schools, particularly for children. The owner or the proprietor may have a reason to feel that when schools are over, they release the dogs so that they can protect their property. But whatever it is, any dog that is kept or dogs that are kept must follow strict regulations to the point that the human beings are kept safe. Having said that, let me say this for this breed of dogs in particular, I think it was the Rot also. When you look at the characters of those type of dogs, they appear very nice. They look courageous. They are said to be courageous. They are said to be calm. They are also confident. But one of the characteristics of the Rot is that they are not really friendly with people.
This particular breed of dog?
This particular breed of dog, they are not friendly with people. Right from the stage of being puppies, they should be rigorously trained, well trained. They have the natural tendency to, maybe bite or attack, but at the point of training, those are the things that has to be taken care of. You must have experienced dog handlers that are well trained, to the point that on no account would you just change the dog handler, because over time the dogs would have been used to a particular person, and such an individual should have been well trained and knowledgeable enough to know what to do and what not to do before he's allowed to attend to such dogs. So it's very, very important. By the time the dog sighted the young lad, I tell you, even if the distance were reasonably far, they would have seen the child as though it's an enemy, or something must have triggered it for the dogs to have come out, like I say, if there's poor housing arrangements. But I also want to say, in the investigation, let them get a veterinary surgeon to join the team of investigators so that they can offer the professional advice from that angle, to the extent that future occurrences can be prevented. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Very, very good advice there. Dr. Monday Ojeamien, former National Secretary General, Nigeria Veterinary Medical Association. Thanks for taking the time to be with us and giving us your insights and expertise and suggestions on this very important topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
And thanks to you out there for watching. Nigeria Today is live every weekday at 7:30 in the evening. Also catch this and other editions on youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I'm Dennis Adegundoye. Thanks for watching.